And we're live.
Happy New Year,
Happy New Year.
2025.
I wrote like the date on something and I had to scratch out the four because I don't think my brain has registered that it's 25.
I know, it's hard to believe.
I know. Okay. I will go ahead and bring the meditation symbol to open up this energy and um, yeah, let's begin.
So a lot to say, a lot to go on.
Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and get and dive right into it. So this is the Cancer full moon.
It's Monday, January the 13th,
Mhm.
and it's in the afternoon, like between 2:30 and 5:30, say, in the
Okay.
afternoon. And a lot going on here, and I wanted to kind of also include like an overview for 2025 in itself. Um, so, right before the full moon, like this weekend, there is a conjunction with Mars retrograde, and Mars retrograde are short tempers. Those are, you know, tempers flaring. It is kind of the bully energy, like picking fights.
Hmm.
So if you find yourself, you know, you can tell if somebody's like on the verge of wanting to argue or pick a fight. Just remember that the alignments and the energy are favorable to having a big blowout argument with somebody, and to try to take a breath and step back and be the observer first. This is the kind of energy where you would pipe off and say something that you would regret later.
Hmm.
And then it relates to old wounds. So, a typical kind, or stories, a typical kind of scenario would be like between siblings, and close friends, people who know how to jerk your chain, and it's an energy where it's kind of a mean streak energy. So,
Hmm.
um, you know, one of the things that is a good mantra is try not to take things personally. If somebody is going through a rough spot and trying to handle it, and it may be that you're their target for their frustration. It could be in the line at the grocery store, or customer service on the phone with somebody, and you just can feel that energy. It's fire energy. Mars is the warrior. They want to fight. And
Hmm.
retrograde means it's kind of stalled, and it definitely likes to go back over past arguments, past wounds. So it's a very good time when you're feeling that way to like get some exercise, you know, either reinvent an old hobby that you've left behind, or come up with a new hobby. Full moon in Cancer would associate with home and hearth, like gardening and cooking, and nurturing people and family related things. So coming off of that, the moon will trine Neptune, and that will help take the edge off of really sensitive feelings. Um, that's a very good time for extra rest, taking naps and just kind of allowing that ethereal part of Neptune to calm your nerves and help you meditate. Um, Neptune is in its final degrees of Pisces. It will be going into Aries at the end of March. So, anytime a planet is in its final degrees, it's more intense. And Neptune is, of course, all about illusion, self delusion, dreams, fantasies, pharmaceutical companies, alcoholism. Um, it can be very seductive. Um, so, and a really positive thing about Neptune is it really gets you keyed into your own psychic ability and intuition. So that's another way to channel any sort of, you know, stressed out nerves from Mars is doing a lot over this year with square to Pluto, eventually in opposition. And those are very uh, uncomfortable aspects. So,
Mhm.
using your tools to feel better and calm your nerves without drugs and alcohol, which is what Neptune can focus on, um, it would be more of the, your psychic intuition. And that's just like any other muscle that you would exercise, right? And, um, I think tarot cards are a great tool for practicing your intuition because they're visual and you're getting impressions from them. And that makes you use a part of your brain that's not logical or you know, um, doesn't have to be right. It's on a feeling, right? So
Mhm.
a lot of feelings going on. Cancer is the mother. It's a cardinal water sign ruled by the moon, so it's very sensitive and psychic and um, can be emotional to the point of being maudlin. Um, um, it rules the fourth house of the natural zodiac, and that represents the home, family, the grave. Um, it can be the healer, uh, certain aspects to that house um, could deal with aging parents, your own aging, um, land, along with home comes land. So it's all about feeling is the Cancer full moon. And
Mhm.
that's like the psychotherapist as well. So it's a very, where Scorpio is another water psychic sign that's very penetrating. The crab can be pretty tenacious about getting to the bottom of something and uh, somewhat relentless. It can be a pretty hardcore energy, taking your stand and defending it. And so
Mhm.
that and the aspects to Mars, you might find yourself having to defend your boundaries. A boundary dispute with a neighbor is a very typical interpretation of this. Um,
So basically, the takeaway that I'm feeling off of it is that, expect some kind of like altercation, so to speak.
Potential, sure,
Yeah,
potential.
potential altercation, and then if you are, kind of like the victim or subject to this altercation, to just navigate it in the best way that you can, and really assess it from, like, an intuitive standpoint, and then make decisions, but the emotions might intensify the whole experience.
And it definitely is a lesson in listening to your heart and not your mind, not the ego or the monkey mind, but
Mm,
deep intuition and gut feeling. It's
mhm,
the stomach, heavy Cancerian energy. People are notorious for holding their emotions in their stomach, creating, indigestion or, upset stomachs, that kind of thing.
mhm,
Um, uh, it's a good gauge for what's going on with you emotionally. How is your stomach feeling? And if it's upset or you're not eating, it's probably directly stemming from some kind of emotion that needs to be, addressed. And like with the Scorpio energy, it penetrates. It wants to always find out what's making that person feel that way. The crab is just tenacious and relentless about uh, finding out what is that bottom line, what's really causing the root of the emotion, which stems back to old wounds, old stories, old patterns, where the people might be different, the faces might be different, but that pattern of energy or emotion is repeating itself somehow.
So I have a question. So if the Cancerian is notorious or known to hold on to these things, is there ever a thing that they release and let go?
Well, I think that's true. That's true for, of course, they can. Because of their tenacity, it takes harder work to let go.
Mm,
One of the jokes about Cancer energy is they never let go of anything where they didn't leave claw marks.
mhm, mhm,
Let go, but it takes an extra effort, and that's where the tenacity comes in. You know,
mhm,
if they're focused to, you know, forgive that sibling, forgive the mother, whatever that old story, old wound is connected to, which is usually something to do with early childhood in the home,
mhm,
and recognizing that, what we're exposed to in our youth is directly connected to our adult relationships, right? And how we manifest things with people. So this energy brings up a lot of that. You know, um, everybody's going to be different, but I just keep thinking siblings. If you had a certain pattern with a brother or sister, or even a mother or father for that matter. Um, let's see, an example would be someone who is a bully or is a bully might be manifest out of a very low self esteem, from growing up. So some of that kind of takes the opposite effect of what it might look like.
mhm,
Someone who felt unloved as a child, may have adult relationships where they overcompensate for that sense of security.
mm,
So it's a deep energy. All of these things lining up a few days after this full moon, the moon will be opposing Pluto and Venus will be squaring Jupiter. So this is a really good opportunity for getting projects completed. And it's more of a time for focusing on finance. Hey, Tommy. Focusing on finances rather than love. So this is kind of a time to try to be the best version of yourself, and what you need to like contribute to your family or contribute to the community, and you know quite often people get very, like, Cancerian energy is very self-centered. And so if you spend too much time dwelling on me, um, that can fester with the, low motivation or feeling defeated, or, um, seeing everything that you don't have, or that you think you're lacking. But as soon as you would do something to help someone else, get out of your head and help someone else, that in itself is a healing. And so, when people will say, do what you can to help others, someone in a really sad or low headspace might feel like, yeah, but I need the help and I need da 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 da. And
Mhm.
turning that energy into helping someone else changes that pattern, it changes that cycle, and then, opens people up to the opportunities for that, getting whatever it is that they need, whether it's a better job or a better car or whatever it is. Um, we're coming into a lot of social shifts for 2025. We have we have 5 planets plus the North Node all changing signs, and that's pretty significant um, within a year. And so we have the full moon on Monday. We're going into it with a favorable aspect between the moon and Saturn, and the sun trining Uranus. And that's very motivating. That's about getting organized. And, your New Year's resolutions maybe be in the category of self discipline or self care, those kinds
Mhm.
of things. That's very supportive of, sticking to resolutions that involve becoming a better person, whether it's to change your diet or help a neighbor, but just, you know, doing things that feel better and ultimately have a long-term result of manifesting better things, not dwelling
Mhm.
even if you're feeling down and out, or, they always talk about January is sort of lackluster because you've come off of a couple of months of a lot of extra social activity, and January you kind of hit a wall, and it's like, oh, you're not going and doing and networking the way you were for a couple of months. And so, you know, getting out of that, like, woe is me thing, and just doing what you can to help someone else, even if you don't have anything, being grateful for what you do have. This is a big year of gratitude. You'll manifest because you are grateful for right where you are. There's not that victim or lack mentality.
Mhm.
So then, by the middle of the week, the moon will be making a trine to Chiron. So all of those, old wounds and stories that have been sort of conjured up. Chiron is the centaur who was the healer and taught people their own resilience through his own pain, right? So that's sort of that, you go through things theoretically because at some point in your path, you will help someone get through that. And
Mhm.
so, I think I've told you, the holidays have represented 2 funerals for me, and that that stirs up old grief, old loss, and it really makes you think about how resilient you are, that you can look back at something very difficult and you knew you survived. And now, a family going through something similar, you know you're there to show that you get through this too. It'll
Mhm.
be the same, but you do learn to live with the change or whatever. And it can be so sad, to watch families go through. My neighbor lost her 34-year-old son to a fire, an apartment fire, right at Christmas. And just, he was young and good guy and left something on the stove, and he fell asleep and caught fire, and several apartments. It was just a devastating thing for the whole neighborhood and the community of people who knew him and family. Um, so that is the lesson of Chiron, is to teach resilience and show you your own strengths, right? And then, so before I get into some of the dates of actual changes coming up over the next few months, I basically wanted to encapsulate that 2025 will be all about technological innovation, spiritual awakening, and your own personal growth. Those are the themes for 2025. Those come, so we've already had Pluto enter Aquarius, and that's a very different energy than where Pluto's been for the last 20 years in Capricorn. So Capricorn is all about government and authority, and Aquarius is all about freedom and revolution. So you've already started getting a hint of what Pluto in Aquarius is going to mean, and that is people standing up to a tyrannical government or rulership. You've seen, major players in politics resign. It,
Yeah, what was that about JD Vance resigning? Is that a thing?
I was thinking of Trudeau in Canada.
Yeah, him too.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
Very interesting to see all the shifts. So I'm going to, for the sake of our recording, put down some dates here to be looking at. So we're already Pluto in Aquarius, that we started the new year with that. March 31st, Neptune will be leaving its home of Pisces and moving into the 0 degree of Aries. Very different energy. Very different energy. That is going to prove to be, um, I think, a lot of pioneering in medicine and spiritual healing, sort of the esoteric kinds of, or metaphysical kinds of healings, maybe getting a little more, I want to say, positive attention, but you could also see, anytime big money and power is threatened, like the pharmaceutical companies, and people find positive results through their own power of their mind and more natural remedies, we're almost forced into finding more natural things just because of the costs of medicine and medical care. So that's going to be a big tug of war. May 26th, Saturn moves into Aries. So we'll have Neptune and Saturn in Aries together, and that will bring more structure to this esoteric kind of community and subjects of spiritual um, expressions.
Mm, mm.
Uranus on July, let's see, no, let's go to June 10th. um, Jupiter goes into Cancer. It's retrograde now and goes direct on February the 4th. So Jupiter in Cancer is all about self care, and that can tie into toxic relationships, like the realizations of, you know, you might be feeling sick because of who you're around, and just simply setting boundaries about how you're willing to let other people treat you And as Jupiter stations direct in the first part of February, you'll get a much clearer focus on that, much clearer, ambition on, Jupiter is the truth and, wants to be free and know the truth, and is that truth is usually stemmed in deep spiritual theories and philosophy. Um, July 8th, Uranus moves into Gemini, which this is, Aries, Gemini energy. We're going into a lot of air and fire energy. So
Mhm.
that means a roller coaster ride for the year. I think we're going to see a lot of shifts in governments and, if you get down to the nitty gritty of watching actual cases in front of the Supreme Court, uh, a lot about standing up for people's constitutional rights is under focus, whereas the way Pluto's been in Capricorn for 20 years, government has just exploded into, power grabs and too much authority over people. So all of that's got to sort of regenerate. And what that might mean, which could make some people somewhat uncomfortable, is being responsible for yourself, you know,
Mhm.
self-governing. And, I haven't mentioned Megatrends 2000 in a long time, but that's the book that forecast the next 1,000 years of 2000 to 3000 based on the millennium from 1000 to 2000. And one of those forecasts has to do with big government going away, and regions would establish hubs of leadership. And basically, people will be self governed, right? You will um, not have all of the regulations and taxes and binds that enslave people to an entity, that abuses their authority. So Uranus in Gemini, Gemini is that mercurial, it's going to be a lot of talk, a lot of revolution. Uranus is in Pluto and Aquarius. There's a connection there about, and you've already, you've been seeing a lot of it in other countries, not so much here in America as um, France and where else did I see? Parts of South Africa, um, parts of South America, just where people are tired of being under the boot of an all powerful authority that is very inequitable, you know. So then another really big shift, it happens about every 18 months. So if you want to think about what you were doing around April of like 22, the North Node axis will be changing. And that will go to Pisces Virgo from January 11th. So that starts tomorrow to August 18th of 2026. This is another energy that supports the health and spirituality, healing kind of connection, um, and more compassionate humanity, um, sort of, like this whole sort of masculine century of brute force and violence is playing out. And as the axis shifts, it comes into humanity wanting to be more peace loving and um, acceptance, tolerant of people's different different things they feel or opinions. It's not an off with your head energy the way it's been. So from January 6th until April 17th, Mars retrograde in Cancer is where you see a lot of the violence or conflicts. Um, you might feel stuck. Um, you might, uh, retrogrades are positive for inner work, making us reflect inwardly. So, working on releasing resentments during Mars retrograde in Cancer is very healthy. Um, just looking within, not reacting to that sort of volatile energy that you might see around you. It's a 9 year, 2025, that is about being less fearful and more brave, more generous. And so, all in all, it's a year of shifts and positive changes, but in the meantime, it's going to feel very. Uh, I have an artist friend that reached out to me yesterday and sent me a picture of their latest work. He does sculptures, and the name of the sculpture is Tidal Wave. And he doesn't know anything about what I was going to be talking about, or we haven't talked about 2025 yet. And but I thought that's a really significant symbolism for 2025. Um, Extreme weather patterns. All these shifts are indicative of extreme weather. So, where we have a good part of California on fire, by the time Neptune moves, I think we're going to see flooding in other areas. So, these extremes in weather patterns will be a manifestation of all of these shifts for the year as well. And that can be very, unnerving, especially if you're in one of those areas devastated. And that's also goes hand in hand with us becoming a more compassionate society. You know, it seems like every disaster, people reach out and are nicer to each other. In my neck of the woods, having a snow ice event early this week, there are two jurisdictions where the water was cut off. So people are not only dealing with the ice and snow and cold, but they're under a water advisory because pumps at the water treatment plant broke. So
Mm.
like boil water alert all week long. And some areas they've just cut the water off. And so what has happened is all of these, you know, hubs around the different areas just, put out, I guess, on Facebook and different social media, come here for free water, and
Mm.
it brings people together when you go through a crisis. It's unfortunate it takes a crisis for people to be nice to each other. But this year I see as a lot of extreme weather, which may also bring out that humanitarian element. Um, so if you look at last time Saturn was in Aries, that was the late 60s with the cultural revolutions. And 1989, when Saturn was in Aries, was the fall of the Berlin Wall. So again, a that's sort of a reconfiguration of boundaries, right? And It's so interesting, this whole political platform on the United States borders, and the debates going on about how those should be handled. That's so indicative of cycles we've been through in the past. This is not new stuff, just different faces.
Mhm.
And Uranus will be in Gemini for 7 years for 7 years, and that again is going to bring about very rapid change. Um, it's about being free to be who you truly are. So that whole element of self discovery and spiritual growth are again consistent themes, and um, that's going to stem into new developments in education. So I think a lot of what I've seen, some with just friends who are teachers and social workers, it's not that the educational system doesn't have money. It's fed tons of money. It's just very corrupt, and the money doesn't get to where it needs to be to benefit the children. And a new look at how programs are funded and what programs are funded will um, like reinvent the educational system, because there's kids that can't read or write. They're just kind of, they're numbers in a system to get funds.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
um, so it was 2020 when Saturn was conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, and Jupiter was conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. And that was a shift in global structures, right? So now with Pluto moving into Aquarius, doesn't go with convention. It likes to be free and creative and different. So that's where I think you'll see a lot of new choices in education, and for so long, a lot of the like arts and skilled training has not been um, available or pushed up, and so learning spiritual awakening has a lot to do with learning how powerful creative energy is, right? And I think this is definitely a year where all of us need to give a fair amount of focus and attention to our creative selves. And that's connected to the intuition, intuitively going by what you feel, not necessarily what makes logical sense. And that's the difference between Capricorn and Aquarius. And you might come up with some really off the wall ideas, and that's very Aquarian. It doesn't go with the trends at all.
Mhm.
So with the shift with Saturn into Aries, late March and into April, that's about innovation and career growth. So I would say that definitely the first 6 months of this year, it's more focus on yourself, your skill set, your finances, your desires for where you want to see yourself be. Um, it is the lunar new year of the wood snake, which is every 60 years. And that is about transformation and creativity as well. Um, and
Is
I,
the new year about the snake for this coming year?
2025, the wood snake.
I thought it was a different. Oh, that's interesting.
And it represents wisdom, calmness, and complex changes.
Mm.
So, the snake, through looking at it mythology and historically through time and um, story or myth, there's a lot of it is very complex as to what the snake represents. Um, and every culture has kind of their own symbolism for it. But I think that a positive symbolism for it is your own kundalini or life force, which is what needs to be burning and moving in your chakras to motivate you to be creative, and um, that might be an idea also for this month with, meditations on your chakras, to get the Kundalini moving, um, and move blocks, that may have you feeling stuck. Um, but it's definitely about brand new, uh, chapters. The priorities are definitely changed for the new year. Um, and that change being in social structures, not just individual people. Um, the end of the year, when you have Jupiter making positive trines to Saturn and Neptune, this is about dreams coming true. This is about, Saturn brings structure to your dreams coming into reality. So, emotional connection and deep bonds, intuitive flow, these are all things for us to be honing our skill set on, so that, you do have clarity about, what is your dream. And, certainly with that configuration coming in October for the rest of the year, that can bring it into reality. So it's a lot going on for the year. I did make note of Mercury retrogrades. The first one is March 15th, running until April 7th. That's in Aries. And then uh, July 18th through August 11th in Leo. And then lastly, November 9th through November 29th in Sag. So those are your Mercury retrograde periods for the year. And let's see, there's also going to be Venus retrograde March 2nd. And so that's more about an intellectual, emotional connection, and not just a physical connection. That's about paying attention um, to your money and not just love. So that's another kind of, when you can take configurations and they support the same thing, it kind of makes them confirmed. And so that's another configuration of, you know, looking at your financial goals and financial structures and the changes. I think, we've been seeing and will continue to see, like in banking and um, the stock market, cryptocurrency, all those different kinds of banking subjects, um, reevaluations of currency, um, predictions about the prices of gold and silver. And our first lunar eclipse comes March 14th in Virgo. So that's a very analytical time. And the partial solar eclipse, March 29th, is in Aries, and that's all about, carnal kind of cravings, and that does make people feel uh, more energetic. And then the fall, we'll have a couple of the eclipses, which we'll go into. But one of the big things is the nodal axis changing. The nodes uh, are mathematical formulas. They're not planets, and they are based on where the moon is, and they represent destiny and change. And so, going to Pisces Virgo tomorrow for 18 months, there's a lot of focus on service. And this is another configuration that supports our social structure changes and people becoming more compassionate and empathetic to people, and um, more humanitarian um, efforts to bring people together, as opposed to the very, sort of cutthroat, me, it's all about me, kind of mentality that we've had for, I'd say at least 20 years with Pluto and Capricorn. So, brand new chapter, social structures changing, dreams can come true, being clear on what you want those dreams to be. um, 5 planets changing signs between now and June, July. That's feeling very, if you're feeling very uneasy or disruptive, I would say that's normal, because there's a lot of major energy shifts going on.
Mm.
And interesting times, though, very interesting times, historic times. Today, I mean, it's easy to sort of track historic things through politics. And so, we've had some historic things just recently that have never happened before. And that's exciting. It means that you're not in status quo, you're not chained to some bloated system of the haves and the have nots, the class system. Very interesting. Um,
Yeah, so it just feels as if for this year, the 2025 is like a transitional integrative energy. It's like preparing for change, knowing what that change is that you want,
yeah.
and stay the course um, of that to manifest, if that's the thing that you want to have happen, is the manifestation. But it's going to take some work, and it's not like a easy process, it sounds like, but it will get there.
And I would say 2024 was the preparation.
Mhm.
2025 is the change.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think we've been preparing for these shifts, and we're here now, and the shifts
Yeah.
are happening.
So now it's time to actually do
Do the
the work.
spiritual work. Yes.
Mhm.
Take ownership. Take ownership of um, your relationships with people and family, and the patterns, and you know if you're having the same conversation but the face is different, that's not the other person, right? That's
Mhm.
us having an experience somehow that.
Well, to me that's karma. Like we all go through karma, and karma repeats itself until you kind of learn the lesson. But if not, it keeps repeating, like different people, different faces, different times. Um, but at this point, it seems as if we're in this spiritual revolution to where we should know better because we've been preparing for this moment. So it's time to elevate your experience
Mm.
through what you've been prepared up to this point instead
Taking
of regressing.
taking
Yeah.
ownership.
Hmm.
Neptune will keep us from seeing clearly. So that's where honing in on our intuitive skills is important.
Hmm.
And, paying attention to the signs in nature, paying attention to the subtleties of your everyday life.
That's kind of hard when
It is.
things aren't very clear. So it's going to take a level of patience and
That's
just,
why I think our tools, our meditation tools, exercise, gentle exercise, creativity, those are all the things that nurture that patience and that ability to see clearly.
mm,
I think I told you there's impending snow coming, and I have some things I have to prepare outside to be
hmm.
ready for it. So I brought out for the Cancer full moon the Mother Peace Tarot deck.
Okay.
If we want to, no, I just gave a lot of information, but they can replay it and write those dates down, and we'll be going over it more um, as the weeks come. But I wanted to give kind of an overview of the whole year.
No, that's actually really good information because that kind of gives us a glimpse of what to expect
Well,
for
and
the coming year.
if you're feeling, a little unsettled, it's very natural.
Yeah, I feel unsettled. Like I'm still trying to navigate what this year is all about. And even with my meditation practice, I definitely do feel that I need to meditate more to where I'm actually feeling the benefit of the meditation because
Yeah,
I'm not feeling it at this point.
yeah.
And I think it's maybe because of the high pace or just feeling like there's too much
Well,
going
you've
on,
been through a
especially.
big change moving. That's a moving from one state to another is a big shift to adjust to.
Mhm.
Just come off of a long trip in another country,
Mhm.
so you've had a lot of activity.
Stuff.
Yeah, outside of what was maybe once a kind of regular routine.
Mhm. That's what I told my neighbors when I was up in Washington. I felt like I was comfortable. I needed to stir it up a bit, but I think it's a little too much stirring. Like,
Happy New Year, Alicia. It's good to see you.
yeah. Hi, Alicia. Hi. Happy New Year. So yeah, I brought out this deck. It's the Burning Heart Love Oracle.
Oh,
So
nice.
this is brand new, and we'll see what the chart says. So hold on, let me go ahead and bring out the signs. So first we have Aries.
Well, for Aries, I got the shaman.
Okay, hold on. Oh, I have they will never compare to you.
This looks like someone really having a lot to say.
Mm.
There's a ladder there. Maybe
Well,
connection to another dimension.
the shaman is kind of like the fortune teller, in a sense. They always can see what's going on, speaking
Yeah.
possibly of something, and so Aries might have be intuitive at some point, or receive some sort of message that whoever that they're dealing with, they will never compare to you. So this could be spiritual insight.
And we have both Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries this year. This just looks like someone really expressing themselves.
Hmm. You know, the other thing is like Aries might be going through something where like they're in some sort of comparison, if they're comparing themselves from one person to another. Um so that might be a thing, like a
That is a beautiful song. Remember that song? What was her? Was Sinead O'Connor? Nothing
oh,
compares
nothing
to you.
compared to. Mhm. Mhm.
Beautiful song. Maybe Aries should dial up that song and listen to it. You might have some other lyrics in there that would
There
express.
could be like some deep seated wounding for Aries where they're being compared to someone or something outside themselves.
Being enough. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
You are enough, Aries. You are enough. I don't think we get told that enough.
Yeah.
You are enough.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have Taurus. Okay.
So I have the Four of Wands.
Hmm. And I regret what I did to you. So
Hmm.
immediately what I felt was that maybe Taurus got married to someone else, or um, maybe they celebrated the holidays with, you know, someone else. Um, yeah, spending time with family, um, instead of the person that they love.
Well, and four is that I think of the fourth house, home, family, the end, the grave.
I feel like Taurus did something for stability, not so much as like,
Your
you
heart.
know, you yeah, it's like head over heart energy.
Yeah, I get that too.
Mhm.
I think that's
That's
a bluebird up there.
yeah.
We're doing some kind of, oh, there's some white lilies.
Yeah, and lilies is a sign of peace, an apology. Maybe there's a message that Taurus regrets that I don't know, I think they chose family over um a person or a situation for family. That's a rough energy. I don't know. That's how I feel.
Hang in
Yeah.
there, Taurus. It'll move on.
Yeah, just reflecting, yeah.
It always changes.
All right. So next we have Gemini.
Gemini. So Uranus will be moving into Gemini in a few months. That should be interesting. I have the Ace of Cups.
Mm. And it says, I knew you were the one when I met you.
Wow, Gemini.
So maybe Gemini knows that there is a special someone that they love.
And look, we have the two swans.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it could be twin flame connection.
And I
Hmm.
see this person like diving into their emotions, right? They're diving into the water.
Mm-hmm. Like really being expressive. So Gemini might be communicating either through telepathy or actual some form of communication that they are crazy in love with someone. Like they I feel like a confession almost that they knew. And they could keep this to themselves too. Like some Geminis, they don't really communicate well.
Well, they can be fickle when they communicate, and
Yeah.
changeable.
Mm. So definitely someone special is on your mind, or vice versa. There's someone who is thinking of you like this, Gemini. And
Definitely a spiritual connection.
mm-hmm, yeah. Okay, so next up we have Cancer.
Cancer full moon for Cancer.
Mm.
Might be a little more sensitive than usual or emotional. Let's see.
Oh,
It's at 24 degrees. The Hierophant.
hmm. And I have, I'm scared you will reject me. So this could be about a potential of being in a relationship, like a
I was thinking somebody wanting to propose, but scared they'll be rejected.
mm-hmm. There's definitely someone uh, who is thinking of a long-term, relationship, but there's this energy of rejection, and that could be deep-seated um, from past experience, whether on Cancer side or the other person.
And Cancer can be very insecure feeling. They can do a number on their own mind.
Mm-hmm. So, Cancer, if you're watching this, really watch your thoughts, like really change it into positive energy to where you are loved and accepted, not rejected. Um, and that could change the vibe.
Yeah, your own inner hope here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the connection to spirit. Or maybe this is the awareness of this energy of being scared.
It's definitely time to do some inner work and be in control of those overtly sensitive emotions for the full moon. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this moon energy is not like, you know, the best, I guess. Like it's really
a lot going on, that Mars retrograde, but you also have some nice trines, between Uranus and Neptune. So there's sort of a mix there of what's going on.
Hmm. But definitely something to like really like think about, I guess. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So next we have Leo,
Got the Son of Cups.
and I have you're worth more to me than I let on.
So deep waters there going on with Leo.
Mm-hmm. So, Son of Cups, is that like a Page of Cups?
Yes.
Okay. So, Page, they don't really express fully about their feelings. So, maybe Leo, you're um not spilling the total beans, right? Just a little bit. Just a little hint. Hmm. And look, that guy is playing the flute. It looks like.
Yeah.
He's almost naked. Charming the birds to come.
Yes. Definitely a charmer.
Hmm. You're worth more than I. Uh, what's to say?
Let on.
More to me than I let on. That's kind of like
This is like an egg too, so it gives me that feeling of a new beginning or a birth of some sort.
so Leo. Uh,
Go for it, Leo.
yeah, just open up a little bit more. There's that fire that
Yeah.
you're burning.
And all these planets going into Aries, that's a nice trine to Leo. It's very fortuitous for Leos. And
Hmm.
Sag too. So, the fire elements are going to have a good space, I think, in the air, fire and air.
Mhm. Mhm. Okay, so next we have Virgo.
Virgo. Virgo. I got the tower.
And I can't read backwards. I want to treat you the way you deserve. Maybe it's a realization.
Maybe this is moving on to get where they really want to be.
There's that moon that I see. It looks like a new moon
Yeah.
instead of a full moon. So maybe between now and then, there's this revelation, like maybe an aha moment
So the new
that
moon is the 29th.
so by the end of the month until now, you really want to be compassionate or show compassion possibly to someone. Um, Maybe Virgo has been really hard on a particular person and they're realizing that they should
Stop complaining.
yeah, or be different or something. Stop nagging, Hmm.
A lot of fire here.
Mhm, mhm.
Maybe Virgo is checking off some things from their list. The fire is getting them motivated.
Yeah, that could be a thing. So next we have Libra,
Libra, I have the Nine of Swords.
and I want to apologize. Uh, I need your forgiveness. Mm.
This is a tangle, isn't it?
Yeah, like Nine of Swords, like in their head. about something.
Yeah, needling.
Yeah, something is up with Libra. Um, maybe you've been in an argument recently, Libra, and it didn't like end well.
What we've got here? We've got a centaur. We've got
Could be a Sag.
what's that? A warrior, a snake, some kind of bug,
Mm,
and they're laying down on swords. This is an interesting card. This is kind of like they're driving their own self crazy in their mind.
yeah, Libra can do that too. They could be in their head sometimes. So maybe there's like an apology that you want to say to someone, and you just want to know if they will forgive you for being in
Yeah,
your head.
and maybe do that in a meditation and understand that you can't make them take your forgiveness, but you can still forgive them.
Yeah, that's a rough energy, man. It'll be okay. It's temporary, Libra.
Everything is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing for sure.
Yeah. Sometimes we all have our ups and downs, but nothing is,
Stays the same.
yeah, it's not forever. So next up we have Scorpio.
Oh, I have the magician and like a like a leopard suit.
Oh, okay. I have actually two cards that popped up. And it says, I realize all the mistakes I've made. I'm holding on to the memories of us. Hmm.
Oh, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the magician. So you have all the tools you need to manifest whatever you like.
Yeah. So maybe this is like the whole meditative thing, like going to the depths, like you said with Cancer, but with Scorpio, they also do it in their own way. And
Yeah.
they realized that they did make a mistake and they're owning up to it. Um, because there's so many good memories there. Why risk it all? Why throw it all away when things can be rectified or fixed? Um, so I guess Scorpio, really think about it. Like, are you gonna be the bigger person? Or are you gonna like hold, you know, a grudge or
Well, I
whatever?
think the magician is about that sort of resilience and knowing their own strength and building on that. I like this card. It kind of feels like a ritual to me there going on somehow.
Looks like a bottle of wine on the side. I don't know what that is. Like
It's
something in the.
it's weird how his arms and legs are separate from this costume,
Is it?
and his foot is coming out of this vase of water or something.
Oh, I see. Hmm. So like the leopard suit is the cover up that's not the real thing. It's all an illusion. In reality, or is that real or is that
Well, isn't the magician about manifesting that which is above to down to the physical?
as above so below?
Interesting. Deep. Another deep thing for Scorpio, which is so apropos for Scorpio.
I know. Sometimes Scorpio needs to stop though. Like it's not that intense, but it could be, if you really think about it. So,
Liz says Scorpio here, and lately I've been dreaming about him and reminiscing, and that's all I have are just memories.
um,
And that's good that you have those memories,
mhm.
There's value there.
Yeah.
Just being prepared for someone better.
Yeah.
Sagittarius.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the crone.
Mm. And I want a future with you.
What an interesting energy.
Mhm. Now, I don't know what the crown is in this. Is that
It's the 9 card.
what's
Is that,
9?
I should know that.
Is that the star? Oh no, right.
It's bothering me. And 9.
It's the hermit.
The hermit. Okay.
Yeah.
The
Um
Sagittarius.
it's a different interpretation of a hermit.
What did yours say?
Mine says I want a future with you. So perhaps Sagittarius has been thinking about a particular person that they want to spend time with, special someone. They're taking their time though.
Time to settle down.
Yeah, Sag is. Maybe this is the year Sag actually slows down a bit.
I like this card. There's like a goddess flying on a crescent moon with a star in her hand.
Mm.
And there's a path there. It's like a fork in the road.
Yeah, there's a direction to take. And that kind of reminds me of like the three kings, right? Like they're
Yeah.
traveling to the Star of Bethlehem. Uh,
Well, Sag can be deeply spiritual,
mm. Yeah, and they're traveling um through mountains,
Yeah, those are mountains.
maybe a distance like land far, far away to get to their shiny star. So yeah, I mean, this is actually good. Maybe there's like some thoughts that you're having about a particular person that you definitely want to spend a future with someone, but I have a feeling that this person doesn't live close to you. Like you have to actually travel to see this person. And maybe you're coming to a realization that this is what you want.
Making a decision.
Mhm. Yeah. That's actually good. Go for it, Sag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good.
Yeah. I guess that's good.
All good. Even if it feels not good at the time, it's still good.
Mhm.
That's where the strength is being grateful for even the down times.
Yeah. So next we have Capricorn.
I have the priestess.
Oh, interesting. Wow, look at that. It looks like there's something else in there. Um, it says, "We're meant to be together. I will wait as long as it takes for a shot with you." Dang, Capricorn.
Right.
So maybe this is like your higher self, like your spiritual self, like you kind of know what you want.
There's
And
a lot of meditating going on here.
mhm, mhm.
Parrot.
Yeah. So I think the parrot is symbolic for something, but I don't remember what it means. But the parrot, as we know, they repeat, right? Like they can say back,
Imitate.
yeah. Um, so we're meant to be together. I will wait as long as it takes for a shot with you. Now I know that Capricorn is in it for the long haul, like the long game. Like they are very patient people. So if this is something that you intuitively feel, then I would say follow your gut or follow how you truly feel on this particular person. Or it could be vice versa. Maybe there's a person who is thinking of you like this. So that's good. You see that like in your card? You have like a portal of some sort.
I do, yeah. I was
And
thinking,
is that like corn? I don't know. I can't.
yes, yes, it is.
Uh,
And
there's
there's
a
people
baby.
meditating
Mm.
on
Is that
another plane.
interesting?
These are fun cards.
Mm-hmm.
They do different. This is a cauldron. They're cooking something there.
Mm. Oh, the hand. There's a hand in the portal.
It's like the evil eye, defending from the evil eye.
Like a form of protection. Something is definitely like growing, flourishing.
The priestess.
Mm.
Very good.
Yeah. So just really follow your intuition there, Cappy. So next we have Aquarius.
I'm with you, Liz. I'm not waiting, only if it's my paycheck.
I don't know. I can't read what's going on in the chat.
I'm a Capricorn rising, wink, wink, laugh out loud, but I'm not waiting only if it's my paycheck.
That sounds like a Capricorn.
Seems like I'm always waiting for a paycheck.
Okay, so
Yes.
let me go back here. Aquarius.
Six of
So
Swords.
6 of Swords. I want to reach out but don't know how. I wish you were here with me. Hmm. So something is making Aquarius feel torn.
They can run hot and cold for sure.
Mm-hmm. Wishing you were here. I want to reach out but don't know how. Maybe it's difficult. Or maybe there's
A lot of thinking about it.
mm-hmm.
These are like ethereal beings, and they each have a rose in a hand.
Oh, interesting.
You see where I took a chunk of meat out of my finger? I cut my finger.
What happened?
A bowl broke, and when I was cleaning it up, a piece of it sliced my finger. There was
Ow.
blood everywhere, man. Doesn't look
Oh,
like it was much, but that's a week old. Yeah.
a week?
Hmm.
Did you have like what is it called that you like Neosporin?
Hmm. I've
and it's
a
still hitting you a
Band-Aid. I
lot?
probably should have put a Band-Aid on it. I didn't think about it. So pardon my mess.
Well, if uh, usually, like, if you air dry it, like, it heals faster than
Yeah,
to, like,
I kept it covered up for a couple of days because I was,
oh,
uh,
cleaning and stuff,
yeah,
maybe. Mhm.
had those limbs come down, and I was picking up wood outside and stuff like that.
Mhm. I'm sorry, honey.
It was blood everywhere.
I know. Oh, let's
Oh,
see here.
Pisces. We got the Emperor.
Hmm. And I let people manipulate me into ghosting you.
Oh,
Okay, Pisces. Do you have a story to tell?
yeah.
So, like, being the authority, but maybe portraying one thing, but really you're against it.
That makes me feel like they had to go through whatever they went through to learn their own authority. They had to recognize being manipulated before they could see their own power. It took something to make them get strength.
I have a feeling like it was a hard decision. Like it was too many, like, like five against one, sort of thing, and
It's
they had
still
no other
coming up.
choice but to follow suit.
Pressure,
Mhm.
but they're still thinking about it.
Mhm. Mhm. And the emperor is like Aries energy too, so
Yeah,
mm,
maybe he's standing up for himself now.
mhm.
Slayed a demon.
Yeah, cuz sometimes it takes certain energies to get a different result if
Right.
that's not like your element, you know what I mean? That's why like having like these transitions in our signs is helpful because if we're all one way, then it would be hard to navigate.
What an interesting card. If you look at the table behind him, it looks like a couple doing the tango. And there's a turkey and a feast over a fire.
Oh, what is that? I see it now. It's on that table.
Yeah, he's in his sock feet.
All right, he's lounging on his chair, half naked, with his purple robe,
With his
which
helmet on.
he's got everything behind him.
Interesting.
Is that turkey?
Yeah, it is. And there's another person over here at the bottom.
Hmm.
You see that?
Yeah, I see three. One is like on the side, and there's two, like you said, doing the tango. Looks like pomegranates and grapes, or is that apples? I can't tell.
I think it's grapes and pomegranate. And then there's a sword back here with the turkey.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see.
So Pisces
Mhm.
is maybe fantasizing about a good meal and a tango.
Could be, I know my brother's trying to go on back on a diet. Like he used to be like all into physical fitness and he's hasn't been. So yeah, he's wanting to get back into shape. So um okay, so let's see here. Oh, we are still in no communication. I was gonna say that's a bad cuticle cut, but ouch.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. It was an ouch. It was an ouch
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
When I came back, I broke one of my casserole dishes. I mean, they're like a set of four, so it's like a small self, one person serving
Yeah.
casserole thing. And yeah, but luckily I didn't hurt myself, but I didn't like the fact that I ruined a good casserole dish.
Well, this was a bowl that was a set of four, so now I have three.
Yeah, me too.
That's interesting. Did it happen?
2 days ago.
Isn't that interesting how people can have the same experience like that?
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
was I was like trying to get it up so that my dogs didn't walk through it. And I guess I was going too fast.
Mhm.
And it was smarts. So then I was trying to clean up the glass and the blood.
I don't know.
Oh God.
I think it was like my son, he overwashed a lot of dishes and
Yeah,
I didn't see that one thing, so it fell to the side. And I
right.
was like, "Oh shit," like
I know.
and he's the one that eats out of those, like not for casserole reasons. He eats I think because it's a cool looking dish plate. I don't know.
Right.
So now we're one down.
Well, and when it happened, I was like, well, that's one way to get rid of extras. Just
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, so I think like d does anyone have a question for Sunny in the chat? I see Liz is here, but is there anybody?
there a little while ago.
Mhm. Yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to spend some time to thank you for the lovely like gift that you had sent me or gifts.
Is it
I
pretty?
Yes, I like it. It matches my color and like just everything. So thank you. I
You're
like it a
welcome.
lot.
It's an
And
early
then
happy birthday.
yeah, and I also received this from you.
Yeah,
It's like a hologram inside a
it's
crystal ball. It's
yeah.
pretty cool. And it has a constellation inside. Yeah, I never really seen anything like that, but look at that. It's like there's a couple of things going on in here. It looks like Peter Pan, but it looks like a lady, and then also with it
It's a,
looks like
it's a fishtail goat, isn't it? Is it?
I can't tell. It looks like I mean it could be. Yes, I see it. I see like the hooves and stuff.
It should be the Capricorn constellation and the goat.
There's two people in there. It's like
And there's a lady there, huh?
yeah, and then on top there's like this. I don't know if you can see it. It's the constellation right there.
Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
Yes, thank you. Is a really unique gift. So thank you for thinking of me like that. And I have this. I have to find a spot for it.
Yes, yes. This was a
And then
different one this year.
yeah, and then I have like the pug.
Oh my gosh. I thought that was the cutest thing. I've had that a long time waiting to send it to you, and then I
Oh,
forgot about it, and then
mm-hmm.
and then and then I found it, and I was like, oh, I got to get this in the mail. I
Yeah,
thought that
it's so
was the cutest.
cute. It's in a like a little bomber jacket. So
That's
yeah.
Frankie. That's
So
Frank.
yeah, so now I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do it because I have other paintings and I don't know if I want to frame it in like a black or just like just get like or just hang it up on the wall because now I feel like I need to do something for Tommy to match Luna.
Right.
So
Yes.
yeah, so I think that there's like some like AI, like you can like find stuff like that
Yeah.
to kind of match because Luna is easy because pugs look alike, especially her the fawn colored one. So
Yes.
but Tommy is a little bit unique because he has like this nose thing. Um, so
And
yeah,
he's gray, right?
yeah,
So
he's gray and white, so he's not like a full on Russian blue. He's like mixed. So yeah, I'll probably have to do like something custom to match the one that you had given me. So thank you for that. That's so cute.
there's something you can send them a picture and they'll do a canvas of your picture.
Mm-hmm. I've seen that. I think it was on Etsy. I had some mixed like things on that I read like this looks nothing like my blah 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 or
Right.
but it doesn't matter just as long as like the concept is there. I think it's good enough. So it doesn't have to
I'm
be
always
perfect.
going into antique shops and consignment places, and that's where I found it. And
Oh.
I find a gray cat, I'll send that on too.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Let's see. Liz says, Happy birthday. I don't know if it passed, but I keep thinking it is the 14th.
Oh, well, thank you, honey, for thinking of me. Yes, it is the 14th. So, not yet. I'm not that age yet.
Yeah, well, it's like celebrate all month long. It's not like a Buddhist would say every day is a birthday.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, every day. Yeah, I'm so thankful to be alive
I
and
was
to experience.
close. Yep, you were close.
Yeah, it's in the teens. Yeah, thank you, Liz, for thinking of me.
And thank you for my scarf. This thing is it's so soft and warm. I love this thing.
You're
And
welcome.
especially it's so cold right now. It's like 17 degrees.
Mhm,
Uh,
mhm. Like even Arizona has a freeze warning, which
oh,
is in.
really?
Yeah, I do. I came back and I was like, "Oh, it's cold here." So I didn't know, but I didn't think that it was going to get affected by the winter front. So, um, I don't know. I haven't experienced anything other than wind. Like we had really strong winds here, but that was it.
Oops.
So,
Sorry. I'm just, I'm trying to figure out if it's started yet.
yeah.
My computer says it's started, but I don't see it. And I just wanted to get some of that ice melt down where I walk the dog so that I don't slip and have an accident. I broke my wrist on the ice one time.
Oh no.
Ever
How
since then,
long? How long ago?
I think I was, well, actually, I guess I was 20. I was taking the trash out in the morning and I slipped. We'd had a bad storm and I slipped and I crushed my wrist. It's
Oh
crooked.
no.
See, it's crooked. And it was the day I was to have the first date with my ex husband. He was going to pick me up for lunch.
Oh, first
And,
date?
yeah. And the next thing I know, I'm in the emergency room, haven't showered, dirty hair. You know, and here he comes. My roommate had told him that I was at the emergency room.
Mm.
First date was him coming to the emergency room, and I was all doped up on Valium, getting my wrist set, and that was interesting. I so he does get me home and left, and we rented a room to this guy who worked for Federal Express, and he had weird hours. Like he'd sleep all day, and then he would be on the flights with the courier at night. His name was Tim, and he was a really nice guy. He loved being around. It was me and my roommate, and we loved to cook and party, and we were always up to something. He loved being around us. We were like sisters to him.
Mhm.
He actually ended up washing my hair for me in the kitchen sink. And I introduced him to this girl, and they hit it off. And as far as I know, they are still together.
Mm.
Yeah. He was into some form of kung fu. He would, on his days off, he would be out in the front yard practicing kung fu.
Oh my god, what?
Yeah.
That's
And I
interesting.
don't know if anybody else will be experiencing this. I think you mentioned something about somebody from the past, but like this week alone, or just like that, talking about that from a long time ago. And this week alone, that I have had an old girlfriend that I haven't talked to in the longest time, and I just think about her around Christmas. Her birthday is like December 2nd,
Mm.
and I was near her neighborhood the other day. And I was like, you know what? I am just going to try her number. I don't even know if she has the same number or anything. And she answered, and we caught up for like 2 hours. And then yesterday, out of the clear blue, I got a text from the guy who I went to for 26 years to get my hair cut. And
Oh, that one.
yeah, and during COVID, um, he had said he was going to retire. And I didn't want to go to a salon that wore face masks. I thought that was ridiculous. And they were really shitty to people about that. So between him retiring and me just not liking the way they treated people there, I have since gone other places. Well, he's one of my Medicare clients too. So I had sent all my Medicare clients a Christmas card. And out of the clear blue yesterday, he sent me a text thanking me for the card. And I just said, oh, good. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing your art. And I went on the salon website where he used to be. He didn't retire, he's still there. And
So
And then, so he was who I learned a lot about cryptocurrency. He's who got me into Bitcoin.
mhm.
And cryptocurrency right now is going crazy, crazy.
Mhm.
And like banks are blocking people from using their debit card to purchase Bitcoin, that kind of crazy stuff, you know.
Oh.
It's weird stuff going on with it. And I've thought of him often because he always kept up with it. And then he texted me, and I wrote him back. I said, "Hey, you need to give me a update on cryptocurrency. It's so crazy. I can't keep up." And he wrote back. He said, "We'll grab coffee sometime, and we may or may not." But I don't know how I feel about that. Like he really pissed me off. I remember that last fragrance. Here's that Mars retrograde thing. Because I remember, you know, he just acted like, I wasn't going with the program. I was being dismissed. And I paid for a haircut and color, and he didn't cut my hair. He like washed it and dried it and put color on it, but he didn't cut at all. And I remember him standing against the counter with his thing, his arms crossed, and me looking at him like he's charged me for a haircut and hadn't cut my hair. And the whole vibe of the place was just, they were so paranoid and so freaked out about all of it. And
Mhm.
good to see you, Liz, and study well. Um, uh, so at
Yeah.
first, when I was surprised he stayed with me in the plan that I had put him in, but he did. And so today, thinking about hearing from him, and it's been about 4 years, right?
Mhm.
And it's a weird feeling. It's like I was so angry at him. But I mean, going to somebody for 26 years, that's a long time. My
It
mother
is.
used to go to him. But
So, like, given with like the whole energy about forgiveness and putting like the past behind you, how do you feel about that? Do you feel validated for you to still be angry at him because of the one bad service
no,
thing?
that's the thing. I don't feel angry.
Mhm.
But I also don't think I'd ever go back to him for a haircut.
Okay, so just coffee and a tip.
Yeah. Tell me what tell me what I need to know about cryptocurrency.
Yeah, that's all I'm here for.
And we may never catch up, but I thought my whole point, like Mars retrograde will bring up old stories, old
Mhm.
angers or whatever. And
Mhm.
the girl, that I reached out to, that there was never any anger there. We just lost touch. It's really weird how that works though. You'll go through periods where you hear from people from the past and then don't. It's weird how that works.
Mhm. I had my old friend contact me. She contacted me today.
Wow.
We don't, yeah, we don't have like any kind of beef on each other. She's a really good friend. It's just like she's an Aquarius, and so, you know, when we catch up like old times, and we turn off, and it's fine. It's not like we have to contact each other like every
Right.
month, to keep up to date. And so,
I
yeah,
love
it was really nice to catch up with her. And she's always the one that initiates the conversation, because I'm not like the type to reach out and call people from the past, but she has always been that way. Um, so yeah, it was really good to connect with her. And
And it might be more an expression of that Cancerian sentimental energy, you know.
mhm. Well, her husband recently just got out of surgery. And so that's how I found out, because I just came back. And I was like, oh, well, what happened to your husband? Like, is he okay? And so basically, he had surgery on his neck, because he had spinal stenosis, I think is what it's called. And
Mhm.
so he had a degenerative disc in his neck, which was causing him pain. So he had like a pinched nerve. And
Right.
so he was getting like steroid shots for the past 4 years. And so he was at the point where he just needed the surgery instead of getting the shot. And so, yeah, so he's been a little moody.
Recuperating. Yeah.
Yeah, like when you're like having surgery, he was saying like the TV was too loud, or the TV shows that he used to enjoy. He says, "Well, this is boring," just acting
That's
off,
funny.
And then she was like, "Well, what are you talking about? You love this show." No, no. Well, when you're in pain, it's not the same. It's not the same
Right.
sentiment. It's like turn it off, And he was kind of being crabby, like crab
Right.
like.
Yeah. That's funny. That's funny for you to use the word crabby.
Yeah,
Cancerians are known for complaining for sure.
yeah, just being like, just like, what's wrong with you? Like, why is he acting like this? And and I can tell, like, he sounds like he's like, like, because his wife was like chit chatting with her son, and they were laughing, like. just having a conversation. Here he is, bedridden, just had surgery, and he was just getting annoyed for the
Right.
fact that they were giggling in their corner and he wasn't like participating. And he's like, why are you so loud over there? Like, why?
Quiet.
So that was the update.
I hope he recuperates fast.
Yeah, I think so. It seems like the surgery was well, but it's too early to tell because, his neck is in a brace, so it's hard for him to like
Yeah.
move. So he has to like uh I
Mm.
guess be on bed rest for a few months, which isn't fun because nobody likes to just like do nothing for a couple months.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to hop off here and go do some snow prep outside. And this has been great catching up. I'm glad you're back. Happy New Year to everybody.
Yes.
Um, we have a new moon at the end of the month, the 29th, and I'll get some information out about that. And we'll just ride the tidal wave into 2025.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. All right. I'll
All
talk
right.
to you soon, okay?
Okay. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.